Hi there, it's Alan Smith, head of Sky Sports Boxing, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out. I'm FAISAL Khan, and I'm joined here by Ben Davison. Ben, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm not too bad. Almost hit you in the face there. Sorry. Chance to have a world champion in your stable come Saturday night. How excited are you feeling for the fight, and how's training camp and preparation been going?
Yeah, I've got a world champion, the lineal heavyweight champion.
Sorry, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, but it's a chance to get Billy Joe Saunders to become a two-weight world champion.
Yeah, of course. It's a fantastic achievement for Billy Joe Saunders. Fantastic for the team to have that. Fantastic for the mobile community. But in all seriousness, obviously, it's a fantastic achievement.
And how's Billy looking, going into the fight, and how's training camp been going? I've seen him on social media working closely with yourself and, of course, Tyson. What's his mindset like? How's he feeling now going into the fight after the back end of what was a very disappointing 2018?
Very good. Training camp's gone very good, but obviously there is still a job to be done. It's not just him getting in the ring on Saturday, so we've got to have full respect to Asufi, and he's got a job to do first.
One thing about the Wilder Fury fight is we learned a lot from yourself, that you like to study opponents on a regular basis. I saw on the No Filter Boxing show how you were watching Deontay Wilder's previous fight, so I take it you've done that with Shafat Asufi. Tell us, what can we expect and what type of a fighter is he?
He's a fighter that's got very good variety, fast hands, he can punch, but there are some errors there as well. But I'm sure he'll be working on correcting those. I'm sure that he'll bring a better version of himself than he's ever brought before. So it's an interesting one. Obviously, the problem is going into a fight that my fighter's boxing. I'm not going to break it down for you in detail because that's for me and Billy Joe to discuss, for him to exploit. But after a fight, I'm sure that there'll be no problem in me breaking down the fight, or I've done it for BT Sport on fights that I'm not involved in with Crawford Khan, etc. So when my fighter's boxing somebody, it's hard for me to sit here and go into detail on what I see.
What's the difference of your approach with Billy Joe Saunders in the ring than it was with Dominic Ingle whilst Billy was working with Dominic Ingle?
Listen, it is what it is really. Dom's a very good trainer. He's had a lot of success throughout the years, and he's a proven trainer. It was just a change for Billy Joe. Obviously, I see things that I wanted to work on. Billy Joe's been inactive really for over a year. He had the fight in December against Charles Adamu, but that was just a case of he wanted to box because he promised the poorly lad that he could do a ring walk with him before. Sadly, he passed away, so full respect to Billy Joe for that. But he hadn't boxed since December 2017, so it's a case of going back to the drawing board, just going back, brushing up on a few things, and that's what we've done.
Am I right to be believing that obviously if you are successful on Saturday night, you'll be looking at the likes of Callum Smith, Chris Eubank Jr., even Canelo and Golovkin?
Yeah, well, we'd love the fights at middleweight. We would love that, but the reason Billy Joe's gone up to super middleweight is to open up some options. So we'll see how the land lies after Saturday. God willing, we're successful.
And of course, obviously, it doesn't stop there because you're off to Vegas in a few weeks with Tyson Fury on June 15th. He takes on Tom Schwartz in Las Vegas. Firstly, how's Tyson getting on in training camp, and how's he looking?
2 seconds. Yeah, One sec. He's getting on very well, He's had a solid training camp, and we'll be going over to Vegas to knob on him. Cut that bit out. We'll be going over to Vegas to finish off training camp. Obviously it's a chance for Tyson to headline in Vegas, which is something that I'm sure he'd be wanting to tick off his bucket list for a long time, and looking forward to it.
Lots of talk about Dillian Whyte and a fight with Dillian Whyte. Could you tell us, could that potentially be the next step if Tyson Fury is to be victorious on June 15th?
Potentially. Obviously they've both got 2 fights coming up. The problem is it's not going to be a final eliminator for the WBC, because Tyson's not going to box a final eliminator for something that he's already won, if we're being sensible and not talking rubbish. So Tyson put out that he'd do it for the diamond belt. Obviously his priorities are to make the fights with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, but if that isn't the case, the next best thing is Dillian Whyte, and I'm sure that'll be able to get made. I'm sure that Dillian Whyte will be able to get shot, but first things first, they both got fights coming up to get past.
Speaking of Deontay Wilder, what did you make of his comment saying that he would like to have a body on his record, more or less saying he can kill someone in the ring?
Yeah, listen, nobody likes. There's no place for comments like that in boxing. I'm not going to run the man down. I think there's a lot going on for him at the minute, psychologically, in my opinion. Whenever I've met him, he's been a nice guy. But look, it's one of those things. Deontay Wilder, it'd be interesting to see how those things have an impact going into Saturday.
But comments like that, worrying, because you look at what's happened in the ring, as you mentioned in the previous interview, I heard you saying about Jeremy McLennan, and then you look at Scott Westcott. Surely them type of comments need to be taken serious, because that's the last thing any fight fan or fighter would want to see in the ring.
I don't want to run a man down, but I'm sure the WBC aren't happy with that. I think that the commission should be looking at doing something about those comments, because there is no place for comments like that in boxing.
And last question, obviously Jarrell Miller failed 3 drug tests, so a change of opponent for Anthony Joshua. It's Andy Ruiz. Do you think it's a better opponent and a better test for Anthony Joshua?
We'll have to wait and see. I think fair play to them. They've tried to get a good opponent. They've tried to get a late replacement. Obviously, I think they've done a good job of that. I just think stylistically it's a tough ask for Andy Ruiz, but I do think that Andy Ruiz is a good fighter as well. Yeah.
Ben Davison, good luck for Saturday night. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for talking to Lights Out.
No problem. Cheers.